In the same vein, on last quarter's program, Warren, you brought us up to date on a similar project, GASB's deliberation of a new standard of accounting for leasing activities based on the issuance of final guidance from FASB as well as the international standard setters. And I did notice in the past quarter that GASB's board did unanimously approve the issuance of an exposure draft on leases. Now, I'm curious, were there any surprises in that exposure draft?
You know, Mike, I really don't think there were that many surprises. The concepts and questions that were included in the preliminary reviews document, I think ultimately the preliminary reviews really, for the most part, made their way into the exposure draft. So I really wasn't surprised with anything that was in the exposure draft. They maintain the treating leases as really one type of lease, as opposed to trying to break it out into, you know, what used to be capital versus operating. That is a distinction that exists in the FASB world. So I think that was an important step, and I think that carried through from the preliminary reviews document.
You did tell me, Warren, that it was a GASB foundational principle that all leases are financings of the right to use an asset. Does the exposure draft maintain that concept?
Yes, it does, Mike. It's it almost says verbatim that, you know, we view the leases are viewed as financing mechanisms, except for leases that obviously there's some leases that are scoped out of the requirements. But that essentially is the basic principle of these. These are when you lease something, you are taking on an obligation that's very similar to the obligation that you would have taken on if you financed it as opposed to leased it.